I fail to have anything planned for today, and I just figured today was a reading kind of day, whether that's good news or bad news. I suppose it's up to you, but I just didn't feel like doing a lot of editing today. So we're going to read some perks today. I'm going to read the first chapter, because it has one of my favorite quotes in it. There is some mature content in this book, so just beware. Serious topics and stuff if you're younger and you're watching this, but Liam and Emily can read it. Obviously, I wouldn't read it to you if you couldn't read it. August 25th, 1991. Dear friend, I'm writing to you because she said you listen and understand and didn't try to sleep with that person at that party, even though you could have. Please don't try to figure out who she is, because then you might figure out who I am, and I really don't want you to do that. I will call people by different names or generic names because I don't want you to find me. I didn't enclose a return address for the same reason. I mean nothing bad by this. Honest. I just need to know that someone out there listens and understands and doesn't try to sleep with people even if they could have. I need to know that these people exist. I think that you of all people would understand that, because I think you of all people are alive and appreciate what that means. At least I hope you do, because other people look to you for strength and friendship, and it's that simple. At least it's what I've heard. So this is my life, and I want you to know that I'm both happy and sad, and I'm still trying to figure out how that could be. I try to think of my family as a reason for me being this way, especially after my friend Michael stopped going to school one day last spring, and we heard Mr. Vaughn's voice in the loudspeaker. Boys and girls, I regret to inform you that one of our students has passed on. We will hold a memorial service for Michael Dobson during the assembly this Friday. I don't know how news travels around school and why it's so often right. Maybe it was in the lunchroom. It's hard to remember. But Dave with the awkward glasses told us that Michael killed himself. His mom played bridge with one of Michael's neighbors and they heard the gunshot. I don't really remember much of what happened after that, except my older brother came into Mr. Vaughn's office in my middle school and told me to stop crying. Then he put his arm on my shoulder and told me to get it out of my system before Dad came home. Then we went to eat French fries at McDonald's and he taught me how to play pinball. He even made a joke that because of me he got to skip an afternoon of school and asked if I wanted to help him work on his Camaro. I guess I was pretty messy because he never let me work on his Camaro before. At the guidance counselor sessions, they asked a few of us who actually liked Michael to say a few words. I think they were afraid that some of us would try to kill ourselves or something, because they looked very tense, and one of them kept touching his beard. Bridget, who's crazy, said that sometimes she thought about suicide when commercials came on during TV. She was sincere, and this puzzled the guidance counselors. Carl, who's nice to everyone, said he felt very sad, that he could never kill himself because it is a sin. This one guidance counselor went through the whole group and finally came to me. What do you think, Charlie? What was so strange about this was the fact that I'd never met this man because he was a specialist, and he knew my name even though I wasn't wearing a name tag like they do in open house. Well, I think that Michael was a nice guy, and I don't understand why he did it. As much as I feel sad, I think that not knowing is what really bothers me. I just reread that, and it doesn't sound like how I talk, especially in that office because I was crying still. I never did stop crying. The counselor said he suspected that Michael had problems at home and didn't feel like he had anyone he could talk to. That's maybe why he felt all alone and killed himself. Then I started screaming at the guidance counselor that Michael could have talked to me, and then I started crying even harder. He tried to calm me down by saying that he meant an adult, like a teacher or a guidance counselor. But it didn't work, and eventually my brother came by the middle school in his Camaro to pick me up. For the rest of the school year, the teachers treated me different and gave me better grades even though I didn't get any smarter. To tell you the truth, I think I made them all nervous. Michael's funeral was strange because his father didn't cry, and 3 months later he left Michael's mom. At least, according to Dave at lunchtime. I think about it sometimes. I wonder what went on in Michael's house around dinner and TV shows. Michael never left a note Or at least his parents didn't let anyone see it. Maybe it was problems at home. I wish I knew. Might make me miss him more clearly. It might have made sad sense. One thing I do know is that it makes me wonder if I have problems at home. But it seems to me that a lot of other people have it a lot worse. Like when my sister's first boyfriend started going around with another girl, and my sister cried for the whole weekend. My dad said there are other people who have it a lot worse. And my mom was quiet. And that was that. A month later, my sister met another boy and started playing happy records again. And my dad kept working, and my mom kept sweeping, and my brother kept fixing his Camaro. That is, until he left for college at the beginning of the summer. He was playing football for Penn State, but needed the summer to get his grades right to play football. I don't think there's a favorite kid in our family. There are 3 of us, and I'm the youngest. My brother is the oldest. He's a very good football player and likes his car. My sister is very pretty and mean to boys, and she's in the middle. I get straight A's now like my sister, and that's why they leave me alone. My mom cries a lot during TV programs. My dad works a lot and is an honest man. My Aunt Helen used to say my dad was going to be too proud to have a midlife crisis. It took me until around now to understand what she meant by that, because he just turned 40 and nothing has changed. My Aunt Helen was my favorite person in the whole world. She was my mom's sister. She got straight A's when she was a teenager, and she used to give me books to read. My father said the books were a little too old for me, but I liked them, so he just shrugged and let me read. My Aunt Helen lived with the family for the last few years of her life because something very bad happened to her. Nobody would tell me what happened, even though I always wanted to know. When I was around 7, I stopped asking about it because I kept asking like kids always do, and my Aunt Helen started crying really hard. That's when my dad slapped me, saying, "You're hurting your Aunt Helen's feelings." I didn't want to do that, so I stopped. Aunt Helen told my father not to hit me in front of her ever again. My father said this was his house and he would do what he wanted, and my mom was quiet, and so were my brother and sister. I don't remember much more than that, because I started crying really hard, and after a while my dad had my mom take me up to my room. It wasn't until much later my mom had a few glasses of white wine and told me what happened to her sister. Some people really do have it a lot worse than I do. They really do. I should probably go to sleep now. It's very late. I don't know why I wrote a lot of this down for you to read. The reason I wrote this letter is because I start high school tomorrow, and I really am afraid of going. Love always, Charlie. So that was the first chapter letter of Perks of Being a Wallflower. And so yeah, there you go. Bye guys!